I could not see coming. Ayton and the turmoil with the Suns. What? This guy was a key piece. Chris Paul's been simping and standing for Deandre Ayton for years since he got there. DA needs to get paid. It's only a matter of time. Be patient, DA. Your time will come. Everything's happening. No. He's just going to walk now. The writing is now on the wall. I never thought it would get to the point where the Suns were like, we will take Rudy Gobert and a first-round pick for Ayton. Like, I never thought it would get to the point where it's like, what do we need? What do we need? Just give us a couple of, give us a random Jeff Green, give us a Joe Harris. We just want to get rid of him for something. Give us a couple of first-round picks. We'll use JaVale McGee. It's like, what? I thought you guys loved DA. Number 1 overall pick. Could have had Luka, but you didn't. You have DA. What's happening? And then the whole quitting on his team thing, yada, yada. Very a shocker situation for me from a team that has said nothing but positives. If you look back at their finals run last year, all they talked about is how DA was the guy that did all the dirty work. DA doesn't want any credit. DA doesn't want any praise. He just goes out there and he does his job. He plays his role. He could have a bigger role other places, but he knows what it takes to win a championship. And now it's like, no, fuck DA. Fuck him. He's lazy. He's lazy. He's not that good. Like, whoa, what a turn of events. He's now the number 1 free agent name in all the NBA. Teams like Utah, Toronto, Atlanta, just frothing at the mouth. Portland, frothing at the mouth to get DA. Do it, Portland. Do it. Another thing, speaking of Portland, I did not see this happening is Dame having season-ending surgery on his abdomen. The man couldn't even stand up without being in pain, couldn't sit down without being in pain. Portland then actively tanking. Team's never done that in the history of the team. When you're sitting guys like Kelvin Blevins, you're sitting him because he's too good. Trendon Watford, our cleaning lady at 5:15 p.m. as she normally does, and Drew, not Bledsoe, Drew Eubanks. That's it. Yes, Drew Eubanks, and this team with a new GM, interim GM, just clearing the entire decks, getting rid of. They're like, this is the house that Neil built. It's like, no, let's take a bulldozer to everything that Neil ever did, except for Damian Lillard. All things must go. Let's try to get the number 1 pick. That was a shocker to me. New Orleans Pelicans. Was it a shocker they went 1-13? No. Was it a shocker that Zion sat out the full season? No. Not to me. But after 1-13, they made the playoffs and they gave the Suns the business. They gave them hell. And I did also not see that C.J. McCollum would be the centerpiece of that team. C.J. and Brandon Ingram. So many Portland connections upon these surprises, but oh my God. Another thing, Atlanta becoming a dumpster fire. I thought they'd build on their Eastern Conference Finals run. I thought, listen, they got a lot of long guys that can defend and shoot threes. Trae Young is out there. He's like a little baby Steph Curry out there. Let me just say this really fast because it just came to my mind, so why not blurt it out? Trae Young's not even close to Steph Curry. Like, it's not even at all the same thing. You can't get the ball out of Trae Young's hand. Like, you can't. He's not passing the ball. Steph Curry will pass the ball in one possession like 10, 15 times. He's a really good passer, and he's a willing passer. Trae Young, no one's ever said he's a willing passer. No one. I just thought of that. DeMar DeRozan, 2 weeks DeMar DeRozan was like maybe the best player on planet Earth. He was averaging 40. He's hitting game winners from 3. It was just amazing moment after amazing moment when everybody slandered him and said he was the worst free agent signing in all of the NBA. And oh my God, was that a terrible take. I'm glad I never wrote that. I'm glad I never said that. Another thing, Cavaliers making the playoffs-ish. Cavaliers making the play-in at least. Ricky Rubio injury definitely helped or hurt them, but no telling. They were a 1 seed at one point. What? Nobody saw that. A 1 seed. They were atop the East for most of the year. Another thing, this draft class was deep. I don't think anyone really realized how good some of these guys like Herb Jones would have been. A lot of people thought this draft wasn't even going to be very good at all. And it may go down as one of the better draft classes in a decade. Things that we saw coming, like I said, Sixers being a disappointment. No-brainer. Not a roster built for a title run, but we knew that last year. They had Harden at the deadline, like we said. All the fanfare lasted about a week. Ben Simmons not playing a single game of basketball. We saw that. No way. Like, his talk last summer about never playing for the Sixers again. What are we talking about? If he says that, I'm never playing for this team again, he doesn't ever get to another team until the trade deadline. You think he's just going to snap back into action? No. All of those grueling practices he had with Kyle Korver, you didn't think those were going to get him ready for an NBA season? Like all those corner threes he was hitting uncontested? Taking videos of, probably the only makes. He only took videos of the makes. So yeah, like, you got to listen to these people when they're like, listen, I'm willing to risk whatever. I don't need to get paid. Come find me. Garnish my game checks. I'll sue you for mental health infractions. Like, it is what it is. The only question really now is if he'll play a game next year. And where. Because like we said, if the Nets are a dumpster fire, do we think they're keeping Ben see a therapist Simmons? Like, no, I don't think so. Maybe he'll end up in Sacramento, like where he belongs. That would be a great place for Ben Simmons. If you could trade Ben Simmons for the number 4 overall pick, would you do it? Would you do it? Like Ben Simmons for the number 4 pick and maybe Rashawn Holmes and Harrison Barnes. Would you do it? That's a good trade for both sides. The Knicks returning to earth, we had to have seen coming. I know, Brock, you're a Knicks fan. You knew. You knew while it was Knicks mania, it wasn't real. We knew. I was slandering the Knicks 2 seasons ago, like, you guys are fake. People were so mad. Then when they had the 4 seed, I had to eat crow, and it was like, no, that was the case. You weren't real. You are shopping Julius Randle. You are shopping Mitchell Robinson. You are shopping Tom Thibodeau. You are shopping Obi Toppin. Like, all of these things, they were an awesome story. Tibbs had them whipped into shape. They were running like they were the National Guard and getting ready for battle. Trey cut their throats, and it was like the Red Wedding all over again. No one has ever been seen or heard from again. Then they decided to sign Kemba and Fournier. Like, that was a good idea. That was like an arranged marriage that made no damn sense. Now Rose was out for most of the year. No point guard. Pretty inevitable that the Knicks. And Tom Thibodeau wouldn't want to play any of the young guys to give him some juice. Now Tibbs is probably on a short leash. We don't know how this ends. They're going to say he's not going to be fired. And we know most likely he's going to be fired. Kenny Atkinson backing out of the Hornets job. Did not see that coming. I don't know why. I still need to know why. I know it's Michael Jordan related. I'm pretty sure. There's some whispers that Steve Kerr is going to retire, that Kenny Atkinson's going to take over the Warriors. I don't see that happening. This is a team, I know they don't have ego, but they're established stars. So Kenny Atkinson's win sprint method, I don't think it's going to work out for me, dog. That's a sidebar, though. Grizzlies. We saw the Grizzlies making a deepish run. Right? We saw them being probably a top 3 team in the West. Even in the offseason, just how well they played against Utah, how they bounced Golden State out in the play-in game. Barring bad injuries, they could have gone to the finals. If it wasn't for Ja going down with a knee injury, they came very close even without Ja. They've got a bunch of guys with Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane and Tyus Jones. Like, this team should be good next year. They should be good for a lot of time. Utah, not hard to see them being a disappointment, was it? Not rocket science. When you get smoked by the Clippers, and before that's the year before smoked by the Nuggets, when you were up 3-1 in both of those series, and you've done nothing to add to your defensive wing presence, to your three-point shooting, what else is going to happen? Other teams get better, you regress. Teams figure you out. the inevitability is you get bounced. That's it. Like, you weren't even able to be a number 1 seed like you were last year to get you home court. So, yeah. Now you got Quinn Snyder quitting. For what? We don't even know. Just to step away, get some sleep. He's got severe sleep deficit. We already know that. You can see it under his eyes. And now it's like Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Are they going to split up? The best thing is, like, will they still force them to play together? Because that's going to be a nightmare if that happens. Because everybody's going to be asking about it all season long. Hey, what's up with you and Rudy? Hey, Rudy, I thought you wanted a trade out of Utah. Hey, Donovan, did you know that we counted how many New York sports games you went to this summer? It's up to 37. It's not 37. Do you know that Donovan Mitchell's dad works for the Mets? That's an interesting little nugget to file away. Another one that we saw coming is Zion. Zion being so injury prone, he couldn't even play a game. Not one NBA game. I told the world, it was one of the very first things I shared with you, Brock, in October. Zion it's a wrap for Zion. I'm sorry, Richard Jefferson, but, like, he hasn't played. 82 full games he did not play. Overweight, we knew that was the case. We knew the whole emotional eating through injury was the case. And, like, that has become a stain on his reputation. But not only that, people killed me for it. And turned out to be 100% true. Turned out to be 100% true. People killed me. And all of this brings up the question, are the Pels actually better off trading Zion than playing him? Could be an interesting thing with him on the roster, but it also could be a disaster. I remember Brandon Ingram and his happiness level when Zion was on the court, and it was lower than it is right now. I remember Brandon Ingram's efficacy on the court when Zion was there, and it was lower than it is right now. I'm not so sure that Zion and Brandon Ingram work well together. I'm not so sure that Zion contributes to a good defensive team. Doesn't like to run back on defense because, he doesn't like to run. Russell Westbrook not working. Speaking of guys who don't like to run when they don't have the ball. Like this guy. This guy, we've known this for years now, but for some reason they always try to. There's always one trade where they try to finesse you. They try to make you feel. They try to Martha Mitchell you. Like they beat you up in the hotel room. They lock you back. And when you come out, they're like, yeah, that didn't happen. We always knew Russell Westbrook wouldn't work. Wait, hold on here. No, I said he would. And you're like, yeah, no, we said that too. Yeah, no, it was a total experiment. We also knew. So why'd you do the trade? Well, things weren't working with KPJ and Kyle Kuzma. KCP, excuse me. No, they were working. What are you saying? So we knew AD, Russ, and LeBron weren't going to be able to coexist. The truth of the matter is, why are they still trying to make it exist now? It's like Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. Russell Westbrook will never move without the ball. Never. LeBron James needs the ball in his hands, surrounded by shooters. That's it. Those two things don't go together. Thirdly, Russell Westbrook can't shoot threes. He's a horrible jump shot. He has a horrible, horrible jump shot. And layups now. The montages that we've seen of Russell Westbrook hitting the ball on the side, it's a skill. Hitting the ball on the side of the backboard, it's almost impossible. It's like when you miss, like when you hit a golf shot and it goes through all of the branches of the tree and it through the air unscathed. It's like that, but the opposite. Like there's air everywhere except for this little tiny sliver of the side of a backboard, and somehow he's hit it hundreds of times. I don't understand it. Frank Vogel fired. Now we have Darvin Ham. We'll see how this goes.